Richard Ewing. Dick Powell was an American singer, actor, film producer, film director and studio head. Though he came to stardom as a musical comedy performer, he showed versatility and successfully transformed into a hard-bitten leading man starring in projects of a more dramatic nature. He was the first actor to portray the private detective Philip Marlowe on screen. Biography. Powell was born in Mountain View, the seat of Stone County in northern Arkansas. The family moved to Little Rock in 1914, where Powell sang in church choirs and with the local orchestras and started his own band. Powell attended the former Little Rock College, before he started his entertainment career as a singer with the Royal Peacock Band which toured throughout the Midwest. During this time, he married Mildred Maunt, a model, but she found being married to an entertainer not to her liking and they soon divorced. Later, he joined the Charlie Davis Orchestra, based in Indianapolis. He recorded a number of records with Davis and on his own, for the Vocalion label in the late 1920s. Powell moved to Pittsburgh, where he found great local success as the master of ceremonies at the Enright Theatre and the Stanley Theatre. In April 1930, Warner Brothers bought Brunswick Records, which at the time owned Vocalion. Warner Brothers was sufficiently impressed by Powell's singing and stage presence to offer him a film contract in 1932. He made his film debut as a singing band leader in Blessed Event. He went on to star as a boyish crooner in movie musicals such as 42nd Street, Footlight Parade, Gold Diggers of 1933, Dames, Flirtation Walk, and On the Avenue, often appearing opposite Ruby Keeler and Joan Blondell. Powell desperately wanted to expand his range, but Warner Brothers would not allow him to do so. As a result, he bought his release from Warner Brothers in 1940. They did cast him in A Midsummer Night's Dream, but as Lysander, another youthful romantic character. This was to be Powell's only Shakespearean role and one he did not want to play, feeling that he was completely wrong for the part. By 1944, Powell felt he was too old to play romantic leading men anymore, so he lobbied to play the lead in Double Indemnity. He lost out to Fred MacMurray, another Hollywood nice guy. MacMurray unregistered trademark S success, however, fueled Powell unregistered trademark S resolve to pursue projects with greater range. In 1944, Powell's career changed dramatically when he was cast in the first of a series of films noir, as private detective Philip Marlowe in Murder, My Sweet, directed by Edward Dmytryk. The film was a big hit, and Powell had successfully reinvented himself as a dramatic actor. He was the first actor to play Marlowe by name in motion pictures. Later, Powell was the first actor to play Marlowe on radio, in 1944 and 1945, and on television, in a 1954 episode of Climax. Powell also played the slightly less hard-boiled detective Richard Rogue in the radio series Rogue's Gallery, beginning in 1945. In 1945, Dmytryk and Powell re-teamed to make the film Cornered, a gripping, post-WWII thriller that helped define the film noir style. He became a popular tough guy led appearing in movies such as Johnny O'Clock and Cry Danger. But in 1948, he stepped out of the brutish type when he starred in Pitfall, a film noir in which a bored insurance company worker falls for an innocent but dangerous woman, played by Elizabeth Scott. Even when he appeared in lighter fares such as The Reformer and The Red-Headed Susan Slept Here, he never sang in his later roles. The latter, his final on-screen appearance in a feature film, did include a dance number with co-star Debbie Reynolds. From 1949 to 1953, Powell played the lead role in the NBC radio theatre production Richard Dymond, Private Detective. His character in the 30-minute weekly was a likable private detective with a quick wit. Many episodes ended with Detective Dymond having an excuse to sing a little song to his date, showcasing Powell's vocal abilities. Many of the episodes were written by Blake Edwards. When Richard Dymond came to television in 1957, the lead role was portrayed by David Janssen, who did no singing in the series. Prior to the Richard Dymond series, he starred in Rogue's Gallery. He played Richard Rogue, private detective. The Richard Dymond tongue-in-cheek persona developed in the Rogue series. In the 1950s, Powell was one of the founders of 4-Star Television, along with Charles Boyer, David Niven, and Ida Lupino. He appeared in and supervised several shows for that company. Powell played the role of Willie Dante in 4-Star Playhouse, in episodes entitled Dante's Inferno, The Squeeze, The Hard Way, and The House Always Wins. In 1961, Howard Duff, husband of Ida Lupino, assumed the Dante role in a short-lived NBC adventure series Dante, set at a San Francisco nightclub called Dante's Inferno. Powell guest-starred in numerous 4-Star programs, including a 1958 appearance on the Duff-Lupino sitcom Mr. Adams and Eve. He appeared in 1961 on James Whitmore's legal drama The Law on Mr. Jones on ABC. In the episode Everybody vs. Timmy Drayton, Powell played a colonel having problems with his son. Shortly before his death, Powell sang on camera for the final time in a guest star appearance on 4-Star's Ensign O'Toole, singing the Song of the Marines, which he first sang in his 1937 film The Singing Marine. He hosted and occasionally starred in his Dick Powell's Zane Grey Theatre on CBS from 1956 1961, and his final anthology series, The Dick Powell Show on NBC from 1961 through 1963. After his death, the series continued through the end of its second season, with guest hosts. Powell's film The Enemy Below, based on the novel by Dennis Rainer, won the Academy Award for Special Effects. Powell also directed The Conqueror, starring John Wayne as Genghis Khan. The exterior scenes were filmed in St. George, Utah, downwind of U.S. above-ground atomic tests. The cast and crew totaled 220, and of that number, 91 had developed some form of cancer by 1981, and 46 had died of cancer by then, including Powell and Wayne. This cancer rate is about 3 times higher than one would expect in a group of this size, and many have argued that radioactive fallout was the cause. Personal life: Powell was the son of Ewing Powell and Sally Rowena Thompson. He was married 3 times. Mildred mourned although most biographies say they were divorced in 1927, some sources are contradictory. The couple appears on the 1930 census in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where he is working in a theater, and on a 1931 passenger list for the SS Orient, returning from Havana, Cuba. Joan Blondell, with whom he had 2 children, Norman and Ellen. June Allison, with whom he had 2 children, Pamela and Richard Powell, Jr. Powell's ranch-style house was used for exterior filming on the ABC TV series, Heart to Heart. Powell was a friend of Heart to Heart actor Robert Wagner and producer Aaron Spelling. The estate, known as Amber Hills, is on 48 acres in the Mandeville Canyon section of Brentwood, Los Angeles. Powell was a major TV executive. His production company, 4-Star Television, owned several network shows. Powell enjoyed general aviation as a private pilot. Illness and death: on September 27, 1962, Powell acknowledged rumors that he was undergoing treatment for cancer. The disease was originally diagnosed as an allergy, with Powell first experiencing symptoms while traveling east to promote his program. Upon his return to California, Powell's personal physician conducted tests and found malignant growths on his neck and chest. Powell died at the age of 58 on January 2, 1963. His body was cremated and his remains were interred in the Columbarium of Honor at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. In a 2001 interview with Larry King, Powell's widow June Allison confirmed his cause of death was lung cancer due to his chain smoking. Dick Powell has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6915 Hollywood Boulevard. Popular culture references: Frank Tashlin's cartoon satire The Woods Are Full of Cuckoos features a caricature of Powell, a bird named Dick Fowl. The Travel Channel series Mysteries at the Museum featured a segment about the fallout from the filming of The Conqueror with American actor Paul Meltzer as director Powell. Filmography = actor = Features. Short subjects: The Road is Open Again, Just Around the Corner, Hollywood on Parade No. A9, And She Learned About Dames, Hollywood Newsreel, A Dream Comes True, Hollywood Hobbies. As director Split Second, The Conqueror, You Can't Run Away From It, The Enemy Below, The Hunters. Radio appearances. Powell was the first actor to play private detective Philip Marlowe on radio, in 1944 and 1945. Notable recordings, I Only Have Eyes for You from the film Dames. Roses in December, words and music by Herb Magidson, Ben Oakland and George Jessel. ISWC, TO701272774-3, Over There/Captains of the Clouds, issued early in World War II. The A-side brought back a patriotic song that had been popular in World War I. The B-side came from a James Cagney film of the same name. References. External links: appearance on What's My Line 961, appearance on What's My Line 962. Dick Powell at the Internet Movie Database, Dick Powell at the TCM Movie Database, Dick Powell Photo Gallery, dickpowell.net, a fan site, photographs and literature, What's My Line? Dick Powell on YouTube.